What's up, guys? It's your boy Nash here. Normally I would be energetic, full of life, and all smiles and shit. But I'm still reeling from my endoscopy from yesterday. They found irritation in my stomach, which is the reason why I've had heartburn for the last 15 years. I do have to make an appointment with the gastrologist within the next few weeks, but that's more of a personal matter. So I do apologize for not filming yesterday. I wanted to just relax and take a break from it, take a break from filming. But we are now back to our regularly daily scheduled filming, and it is that time of the year where WWE enters WarGames, which brings us to my predictions for Survivor Series, which is going to be the biggest this is by far going to be the most stacked card in Survivor Series history. I would say even more stacked than Survivor Series 2001, and even 2001's event. Most of the matches that were on the card were all title unification matches, which featured, if my memory serves right, it featured the unification of the tag titles. It featured the unification of the hardcore title, plus I think something else. I think the WCW Cruiserweight Championship. What else? What else? If I remember correctly, trying to find it. 2001, here we are. Results. Let's see here. It was the unification of the tag titles. The unification of both the WCW United States title and the WWE Intercontinental title. A simple one-on-one match between William Regal and Tajiri. The European title defended between Christian and Al Snow. The Immunity Battle Royal, a six-pack challenge for the vacated WWE Women's title, and then of course the arguably one of the biggest matches, one of the most important matches of WWE for its time, which was the traditional Survivor Series elimination match, which featured Kurt Angle, Rob Van Dam, the hardcore champion at the time, Booker T, Shane McMahon, and Stone Cold Steve Austin, the WWE champion at the time, known as Team Alliance. On Team WWE, you had Chris Jericho, The Big Show, the Brothers of Destruction, and The Rock, who was the WCW champion at the time. Who took it all? WWE took it all as The Rock pinned Stone Cold Steve Austin. Fast forward 24 years later. Think about that. Fast forward 24 years later, and we have 2 title matches and 2 WarGames matches. Now, typically, there would be about 5 to 6 matches on the card. This year, not going to be the case as it seems. But what is the first match that we'll be talking about for this card? The women's world title between the champion Stephanie Vaquer and the Hall of Famer Nikki Bella. Obviously, over the last couple months or so, we've seen Nikki Bella and Stephanie Vaquer team up to combat against the Judgment Day, and it all had to do with the fact that Stephanie Vaquer became champion, and both Raquel and Roxanne wanted the title. They both had their opportunities at the women's world title. But it seemed like Nikki Bella got a little jealous of Stephanie Vaquer's popularity, and it got to a point where a few weeks ago on Raw we saw Nikki Bella attack Stephanie Vaquer, staking claim to wanting to be the women's world champion, which then leads to this match this Saturday. This is a huge opportunity for Nikki Bella to truly cement her legacy as one of the best, because excuse me, because Nikki Bella she's what, two-time champion if I remember correctly. And the last time she had an opportunity at a world title in WWE, it was all the way back in 2018 at Evolution, where we saw Nikki Bella challenge Ronda Rousey for the Raw Women's Championship at that time. And at that time, Ronda Rousey was literally the biggest star in WWE, aside from what, maybe Brock Lesnar, perhaps. And that's saying a lot because when it came to MMA, Ronda Rousey was literally that. She was one of the biggest stars in the entire world, which dubbed her the. Yeah. Again, guys, I'm still reeling from the endoscopy they gave me. They literally IV'd the fucking anesthesia in me, so I do humbly apologize. Hence the reason why they dubbed her as the baddest woman on the planet. There. We got that going for us. Again, I apologize. I'm still a little loopy, but I am still here. Thinking on it now, Nikki Bella even admitted in a recent interview that however much time she has in WWE, it will be her last. It will be her final run in WWE before she retires, and there's only 2 reasons why she said that why she wants to retire at this stage in her career. For one, it's her family. She has a kid. She wants to be there for him. That's normal. That's perfectly normal. But the second reason is the neck injury. if you guys recall, back in 2015, around 2016, Nikki Bella suffered a devastating neck injury that put her on the shelf for well over a year. And her first match back in WWE, she wanted to compete in the Women's Survivor Series elimination match in 2016, but unfortunately it did not work out. So she ended up having a match at WrestleMania months later. Even though she had several other matches during that time, from that time until that year's WrestleMania was like the match that she wanted to have. So, but to the entire Bella army, to those who are huge Nikki Bella fans, enjoy this while it lasts, because once she retires, it is game over. But the question becomes, who do we see walking out as Women's World Champion? If we're being realistic, 100% it is Stephanie Vaquera. And the only reason for it is because we are still young into her reign as champion. She's been champion since, I believe, if I remember correctly, Clash in Paris, was it? Was it Clash in Paris? Or was it WrestlePalooza? Oh, right, yeah. Right, I completely forgot. It was WrestlePalooza a couple of months ago, where she pinned Io Sky to win the women's world title. And it's crazy because when you really like look at it, obviously yes, there are a lot of fans out there who want to see Nikki Bella walk out of San Diego as women's world champion. Even they know that it's not about ego, it's about the future. And Stephanie Vaquera is indeed the future. And I think for Stephanie Vaquera, we could be seeing a lengthy reign as women's world champion. So I would put my money on La Primera walking out still women's world champion. Speaking of San Diego, who would have ever imagined John Cena as the Intercontinental Champion? I certainly never would have imagined. Not me. But indeed, it happened a couple weeks ago inside Madison Square Garden, in Boston, John Cena's hometown. So now, Dirty Dom said, "You know what? We had a match in your home turf. How about we get a rematch in mine?" But let me ask you guys this question. The moment both men show up, who do you think they're going to be cheering for the most? Dirty Dom or John Cena? I think the answer is pretty obvious, and it's John Cena. There's been a lot of rumors that we could potentially see Liv Morgan return to cost John Cena the Intercontinental Championship, but she's still been out for months. We had not seen her in WWE since late spring earlier this year, when she suffered a shoulder injury at the hands of Kairi Sane. So I'm pretty sure that when Liv Morgan returns, one of two things is going to happen. Either A, she's going to go after the women's world title currently being held by Stephanie Valkyrie, or her and Raquel will go after the Kabuki Warriors and the tag team titles. Or there is a third option, which could be a love triangle between Dom, Liv, and Roxanne, because it seems like Roxanne has starting to slowly but surely have the hots for Dirty Dom, and I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting to see how all this plays out. But there's been a lot of there's been a lot of chatter that we could potentially see John Cena walk into Washington D.C. as the Intercontinental Champion and retiring as the Intercontinental Champion, because I'm pretty sure that's what WWE wants to do for John Cena, is have him walk away still champion. And in my opinion, I think that's probably the best way to look at it, because if Dom regains the title at Survivor Series on Saturday, I mean, John Cena only has one date left. I mean, yeah, sure, we saw John Cena make a surprise, a surprise extra appearance, on, last night at Gold Rush, announcing the men's and the women's Iron Survivor participants, which we found out on the women's side will be Sol Ruka, Lola Vice, Kalani Jordan, the now former TNA Knockouts champion, Jordan Grace, and the current Evolve Women's champion Kendall Gray. And on the men's side, you've got Dion Lennox, one half of the NXT Tag Team Champions and a quarter of Dark State, Joe Hendry, Miles Bourne, Javon Evans, and the TNA X Division champion Leon Slater. Those two matches right there are going to be solid. But this match right here might be just as. So who wins? If we're thinking, again, we have to think realistically. Obviously, no member of the Judgment Day has WWE Gold. Yes, Dominic still has the AAA Mega Championship. Excuse me. After defeating Elio Del Vikingo earlier this year, back in September at Worlds Collide. But that's just it. Dom has only that championship, and there is a long list of guys who would be more than happy to take the title off of Dirty Dom. His own father, Rey Mysterio, Mr. Iguana, La Parca, Elio Dead, Dr. Wagner Jr., the current AAA Latin American champion. There's Laredo Kid, the current AAA Cruiserweight champion. You've got who else can I name? You got El Nino Hamburguesa. You've got who else? There is a long plethora of talent from AAA who would be more than happy to take the title off of Dirty Dom. So the question becomes, with the announcement that was made at AAA Alliances last week, where where the Lucha Brothers, Penta and Rey Fenix announced a tag match between them and Dom and the team of Dirty Dom and El Grande Americano. The question becomes: Is Dirty Dom being too focused on the Lucha Brothers? Is he looking past John Cena? And in my opinion, I feel like he is. I feel like he's not only looking past John Cena, but he's not taking John Cena seriously. And it has to do with the fact that Dom's ego is letting it happen. So my opinion, my prediction, it has to be John Cena. Because if John Cena loses, I mean, there's really no telling what will be next for John Cena with his last match taking place next month at Saturday night's main event. After Survivor Series this Saturday, he only has one date left. And that date is Washington, D.C. on December 13th. After that, it is game over for the franchise of WWE. But that brings us to the men's and the women's WarGames matches. On the women's side, you've got Team Rhea, or I guess Team AJ will probably be the better term, against Team Asuka. Team Mommy consists of Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair, and AJ Lee. You heard me right. AJ Lee is in WarGames. And then on Team Asuka, you've got the current tag team champions, the Kabuki Warriors, Nia Jax, Lash Legend, and of all people, Becky Lynch. Who would have ever imagined that Becky Lynch would side with Asuka after the last 4 years, the last 4, 5, 6 years that Becky Lynch has faced off against Asuka over time, whether it was for championship goal, whether it was inside WarGames, everything else in between. There are so many stories. Excuse me. There are so many stories that have to be brought up with this matchup. You've got the rivalry that is Rhea Ripley and Io Sky. Obviously, they've become like sisters, of course. You've got Rhea and Charlotte Flair. Obviously, they battled multiple times over championship goal. Asuka's had her problems with Charlotte Flair, with Alexa Bliss, and of course with Rhea. Becky's had her problems with Charlotte. She's had her problems with Rhea, her problems with Bliss, now problems with AJ. It's literally a million rivalries all colliding inside WarGames on Saturday, and obviously we don't know if there's going to be a women's advantage match this Friday. I don't know if there will be, because obviously there still has to be the women's WarGames advantage match. So again, we're not entirely sure, but I will say that this is going to be one of the most brutal and one of the most physical matches for women's WarGames of all time. But who walks away as winners? I don't know. That one's a bit tricky. And I say that because it's all about strategy and who exactly will start the match first. At this point, it could be anybody. Anybody could start WarGames, and anybody could finish WarGames. This is one I really can't predict all that much, but when it comes to the WarGames advantage match, usually it's the team that gets the advantage, it's the opposing team that wins. So for example, if Bliss and Flair were to lose to Nia Jax and Lash Legend, Rhea's team wins. Let's say AJ loses. Let's say Kairi Sane loses to AJ Lee. Asuka's team wins. If I'm being honest, who needs this more? Crazy as it sounds, both teams need it, because WarGames can define your career and re-elevate your career to heights you never would have imagined. This is one I really cannot predict. Unfortunately, I can't. It's too hard to call. But as far as the men's WarGames match, oh my fucking god. I have no words for it. Think about this. Team Punk. You've got CM Punk, the World Heavyweight Champion. You've got Cody Rhodes, the WWE Champion. You've got the Usos. And you've got the OTC Roman Reigns. On the other side of that spectrum, you've got the Vision. You've got Logan Paul. You've got the Braun Bronze. You've got Drew McIntyre. And of all people, Brock Lesnar. Yeah, putting Brock Lesnar inside of WarGames is like being locked in a cage with a tiger that hasn't had any food in its stomach in a month. It's literally a death wish waiting to happen. That's what this WarGames match is. It is literally 10 of the baddest dudes beating the hell out of each other inside of WarGames. And it's the same as the women's match. So many stories with this one. Drew McIntyre had his problems with the Usos and Roman for so many years, dating all the way back to the pandemic when Drew first became WWE champion in the first place. Drew McIntyre defeating Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania during COVID. Logan Paul having a match with literally every single member of Team Punk, including Jimmy Uso. The Braun Bronze have had their issues with Roman for several months, and then of course as well, you also have to look at the fact that Lesnar has had issues with Roman Reigns for over a decade. This right here is a decade in the making right now. Like it's just absolutely crazy. And then of course Cody and Roman Reigns had their issues. Excuse me. CM Punk and Roman Reigns had their issues, which dated back to when Roman Reigns was part of the Shield. And then of course Punk and Cody, they're cool with Jimmy and Jay. Come on, it's the same thing. All these rivalries, all these friendships colliding into one match, and we saw this past Monday on Raw, the Vision gained the WarGames advantage. So we all know full well, even though Lesnar is going to be the ultimate wild card going into this match, the biggest dark horse in this match is going to be is going to be Roman Reigns. And the reason why I say that is because Jey Uso has been in every single WarGames match since it debuted to the main roster in 2022. Which would make this his fourth consecutive WarGames match. And it's the same thing with Io Sky. Io Sky has been in every single women's WarGames match in WWE history, dating back to 2019 up until now. This will be, I believe, her seventh consecutive WarGames match in her entire career. Yeah, that's pretty fucking crazy if you ask me. But I will say that the ring rust for Brock Lesnar is definitely going to play a factor, and it sort of did at WrestlePalooza. But with WrestlePalooza, that was a complete blowout. Like we knew it was gonna be a complete blowout. John Cena was never gonna win. Let's just be real on that. I know that if I remember right, I think I predicted John Cena to win. In my opinion, in my defense, I wasn't really thinking I wasn't thinking realistically. Personally, I knew that Brock Lesnar was gonna win at WrestlePalooza, to be fair. But as far as this goes, this is gonna be chaotic, it's gonna be brutal, and it's gonna be bloody. Quite literally. So get ready for fireworks with the men's WarGames match. This is one that I really cannot predict as well, but with that being said, that will do it for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel, you guys want more premium live event predictions and results in the future, then be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and as always, make sure you guys are following me on all of my social media. All of my ads will be in the description below, as will the info to my fan mail. It will also be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.